fireside. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we would love a one-on-one. The energy is a little low, and I think nothing can get this better. So we are going to move into our highly anticipated session. We are diving deep into the future of our city's landscape with a crucial question. Can Hyderabad become India's first truly global real estate market? To lead this fascinating session, to lead this fascination fireside chat, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we welcome our esteemed moderator, Mr. Suresh Kochati. Can we all give a huge applause to the man himself, everyone?
So before we get on with Sandip Patnaik, who is the Senior Managing Director of JLL and the Board of Directors of JLL India, the obvious question that is getting to be asked is, can Hyderabad become India's first truly global real estate market? And for somebody who came to the city in 1965, yeah, that's how old I am. As a 3-year-old with my parents, my father was a railway engineer, and from 1965, and today we are in 2026, I have seen the city grow and how it has grown. That is the way Hyderabad has. As much as Bengaluru was perceived as the pensioners' paradise, Hyderabad was perceived as an affordable city. But the question is, when you see the kind of auctions that are happening today in the city, you wonder if that holds right. So Sandeep, without much ado, is your mic working?
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I think
it's working fine. Yeah. So the question obviously is, being from JLL India, you are in the thick of action. Let me ask you for opening comments on the overall perspective of the real estate in Hyderabad. Do you want to take a decadal growth, or do you want to talk in a 5-year time frame?
See, I'll not talk of decade, because if anyone speaks about decade, then I think he's an astrologer. I'm not. I think we are living in a world which is so unpredictable. I think it will be fair to just talk about next 3-5 years. I think Hyderabad as a city has reached that level of maturity, which I feel even if government says I will be neutral and let the corporates, let the citizens do their bit of contribution, I'm very confident that Hyderabad will just go the upward trajectory. Hyderabad now, I keep telling that Hyderabad now is not the Hyderabad of 2010, 12, 14, 15, right? I think Hyderabad has, in last 10 years, has grown leaps and bounds, right? And I'm very, very eternally optimistic that while there can be a down cycle, 1, 2, 3 years, but next 5 years, next 7 years, no one can stop the growth story of Hyderabad, because it's the corporates, the GCCs, the HNIs, the investors, the global capital, everyone is loving Hyderabad and everyone wants to invest in Hyderabad. So I don't, absolutely not even worried. While we'll talk later on the AI impact on the jobs, but I'm really not worried about Hyderabad as a city.
So Sandeep, that's a good takeoff on the city, and obviously you need to split these things, you know. There needs to be a commercial, there needs to be a residential, there needs to be retail, and of course so on and so forth, support services too. Now when you look at the commercial aspect of it, okay, let's now split that into pure commercial and of course office space. Where are we now in Hyderabad? We can still have a lot of demand being thrown up?
See, Hyderabad now is the second highest annual absorption city when it comes to office space, around 12, 13 million square feet, or Bangalore is up there around 23 to 25 million square feet, right? And I'm very confident, in spite of the AI scare, that Hyderabad will stabilize very soon, where we'll say that confidently 15 to 16 million square feet annually goes nowhere, right? That is point number one as far as office space is concerned. As you know, India has around 1700 to 1800 GCCs now, and out of that close to 22% is based out of Hyderabad. By the way, people who don't know the statistics, last year from Jan to December 25, Hyderabad had more number of GCC setups than Bangalore. I'm talking of absolute number of GCCs. Okay, I'm not talking of square footage or the employment. This really shows how GCCs are blessing Hyderabad as a city what is their confidence on the overall ecosystem, on the talent pool, and on the governance, right? And what I can tell you is that in the years to come, obviously AI is a little unpredictable, but if there is a city which is going to grow in a real big way as far as GCC is concerned, this is this city of Hyderabad, and I'll not be surprised if in next 2-3 years it touches 15 to 16 million square feet.
So that's the commercial aspect of it. Now we have the residential, because obviously when you have GCCs, you have employees and they need to stay somewhere. Do you see a change in people buying versus renting? What is the kind of change that you're seeing in Hyderabad over the last, say, 5 years and maybe going forward?
Look, I knew that you are going to ask this question, and I was being a stakeholder in Hyderabad. I thought, what should I? Should I play diplomatic and say everything hunky-dory about residential? But if I'm doing so, I am not doing the dharma of a real estate consultant who is so passionate about Hyderabad. And I can tell you, I'm no shame in admitting that residential is going through some pains in this city. While office leasing is here, residential is here as of now in last 1.5 years. And I think the reason why the residential is in pain, because there is a huge over inventory, lot of unsold inventory. At the same time, the sales have gone down, right? And why the sales have gone down? I think if you see now the average age where people buy the apartment is around 28 to 35. They are conserving cash. They don't want to put that 20%, as you know, when someone buys flat, they put around 20% of their own money, and then rest of that is taken loan by bank. They are conserving cash because they really don't know what is the future in store of. You have the Middle East war, which went on for long, and thank God it got stopped yesterday. But people are not able to see how AI is going to, sort of shape out. So they are conserving cash. They have money, but they're not deploying to buy the flat and all. So that is the reason the sales have gone down.
So what are they doing? They're renting it?
They're renting. Yes, they're renting. The reason being, they don't want to see. Nowadays in Hyderabad, you don't get a flat less than 1.2 to 1.4 crore, right? And if you do 20% of that, you're talking about around 30 lakhs. They don't want to spend 30 lakhs. They're conserving and they're renting it out. Absolutely, yes.
So when you're seeing the commercial spaces in Hyderabad, Hyderabad is the plateau. That's an advantage. I stay in Secunderabad, which is the other end of the city, which is more of a cantonment area and the British style of living. Of course, we have the biotech park on that side of the city.
On a lighter note, I have yet to find a person who stays in Secunderabad. For them, Secunderabad is all good. Secunderabad is, there is. So Secunderabad is something very different, and I have seen that passion of Secunderabad in spite of, a lot of development happening, but I really love your passion about Secunderabad.
Yeah. In fact, just half a kilometer from my house is the house where Sir Winston Churchill stayed when he was posted in Hyderabad. So anyway, long story short, the question obviously is, unlike Bengaluru, Hyderabad is still, okay, we are better with traffic unless it rains like hell, and then we have the traffic jams and all that. But do you see the scope of the city going beyond the traditional high-tech city or west of Hyderabad into other parts of the city? You have some more absorption available on the east side of Hyderabad, that is toward the Vijayawada highway. You have something toward the north where we are speaking of the biotech cluster, the life sciences cluster. And of course, south of Hyderabad, which still hasn't really developed. With the connectivity that is coming up in the sort of new metro lines and all that, do you see people prefer to put up their units outside the city also?
I think unfortunately, as of now, there's no signs that it's going to be that way. Unfortunately, unlike other cities, if you see Bangalore, you have development towards east, north, south and all. That's not happening in Hyderabad. I think everyone wants to be in the western quadrant of Hyderabad. I think a lot of successive governments tried their level best to promote east of Hyderabad. That is not happening. Corporates are not willing to go. It is in and around HITEC city, Gachibowli financial district. I think in years to come, it might go towards Shamshabad because it's just 30 minutes from this place. To answer your question, no, people are not willing to go towards east, or people are not willing to go towards north. North is only the Genome Valley, north, east, except that So that is the reason you find so much of traffic in that part of city, because the city is not uniformly growing or expanding. Everything is all the chaos, all the construction, everything is this part of city, right? And this is something we have to worry, right? And we really cannot afford a situation what we have seen in Bangalore, where the entire IT corridor and financial district and high-tech city is so what do you say, is going to get impacted because of the traffic chaos, that corporate will say that we don't want to come to Hyderabad, right? So we don't want to see that situation happening.
In fact, next discussion we are going to have in the global capability centers. But the question obviously would be the kind of absorption that you're seeing, 430 plus GCCs in Hyderabad. Do you think more of international companies are going to base their units? What is the preference they take? Is it the talent? Is it the cost? Is it the infrastructure? Or is it all of them?
I'll answer this question by asking this question to the audience. And this is my favorite question when I'm part of a panel discussion or a moderator speaker. How many of you feel that a proactive government is must for the city to grow, for the corporate to invest? So please raise if you feel that proactive government is must. Yes. Okay. So the cameras are on, and I'll request the organizer to please cut this part of what I'm going to say. Is it a live feed? Is it a live feed?
No. I don't think
no. It is growing. Bangalore is 25 million square feet. You are 12 million square feet. Why I wanted to give this example, people keep complaining about the traffic there, keep complaining about the roads, the infrastructure. Why it is growing leaps and bounds? It's because of the talent pool. Talent pool is the number one reason why corporates come to any city, right? Real estate cost is number 3 or number 4. Real estate cost is not the reason why someone will say, oh, the real estate cost is so high, let's go to a tier 2, tier 3 cities, right? Absolutely, talent is the number one reason.
So when you look at from JLL's perspective, and of course you have been in Hyderabad for what now, or more than 20 years with JLL itself?
20 years JLL, overall 28 years in Hyderabad.
So 28 years in Hyderabad, you would have seen the city changing. You know, those are days I remember when I was with the Times of India, where I worked for almost 18 years. Beyond Banjara Hills, there was nothing, absolutely nothing. It was rocks all over the place. Now when you look at advising your clients to put up GCCs, when there's a toss-up, I know you're based out of Hyderabad, but what are the positive spins that you would give to a client as to why they should invest or why they should put the centers in Hyderabad? We are not talking from the purely commercial part of it.
I think while I'll answer this question, but let me tell you very confidently, we are not playing that, we are basically not struggling to explain why Hyderabad. That was a struggle, I think, till 2018-19. I think Hyderabad has reached that level of maturity I told you, where most of the companies have decided they want to invest in Hyderabad. Or at max, they say, why not Bangalore? Gone are the days when Hyderabad is to compete with the Bangalore, with the Pune or Chennai. That is gone. We are much ahead of Pune and Chennai, right? Now the only city we compete with is Bangalore. Having said that, let me tell you how, I as a real estate consultant and a passionate Hyderabadi, how do I sort of sell Hyderabad? Obviously, as I told you, the number one is the talent pool, right? But I think what this city gives, no other city gives, is the easy access to the decision makers, the bureaucrats, right? Or the ministers and stuff like that. I think they had invited the IT minister here. Yes, please go and ask most of the corporates in any other city, if they ask for an appointment with the principal secretary, IT, investment, whatever may be, what is the time taken for them to get an appointment? It is very important for corporates, the CXOs, to get that access when they are setting up their base or when they are in trouble. I think I have seen that from the governments come and go, but one thing is constant is, let me tell you, people think that, it's the country is run by politicians. Let me tell you, the country is run by bureaucrats. And it is the access of bureaucrats which makes Hyderabad one of the favorite destinations for investment. That is number 2. One is talent. Number 2 is the bureaucrats. Right? Number 3, here, while the traffic has been a little chaotic in the last 2-3 years, I think that is the only city. Best example is Neopolis. The infrastructure comes first, then real estate. In other cities, real estate comes first, then infrastructure. I think these are 3 things What I can tell you is I tell corporates why they should set a space here, not in Bangalore, right? I'm just to give you expert. I anyway have, put Pune and Chennai and other cities much low, so I don't talk about them, yeah.
So the question obviously would be continuity of government policies. That's a very important thing. I mean, I've seen right from the time of Chandrababu Naidu, then coming down to the Rajshekar Reddy government, then the BRS government, and then the present Chief Minister Revanth Reddy. The Outer Ring Road is a classic example of it. Started during the reign of long before Chandrababu Naidu, and then it continued without a break. As you rightly described, government support is extremely important. But what is it that drives the government to really go all out, according to you, and especially you said about bureaucrats, and when you compare to Bengaluru? I know for sure Jayesh Ranjan was supposed to be here today, but I don't think he's coming in. But just to be on the safer side, when you compare to an international location, and when you say look at Hyderabad, in terms of the support that you get, the affordability tag and others, do you think we are now set for a 10-year course where we can double the office space that is there right now?
Absolutely, absolutely. While there are two worlds which exist in Hyderabad, there is a world called HITEC City and Rayadug, absolutely no supply, 140 to 150 rupees rental. Then here you have some amount of supply, right? And obviously new policies coming and stuff. I think supply is not an issue at all, right? There are good amount of supply coming, right? The developers, as you know, SAS is a good client of JLL. They are a developer who have done this amazing building. What should worry the developer is not the competition, not the supply. It is about the, if at all there is an AI impact on jobs. Second is how that building are they constructing keeping in mind a future proofing of next 20 years, or they are constructing for next 5-10 years. Let me tell you, any building which is not designed for next 25-30 years, right? And you're constructing a building which is going to very age old, nothing innovative. I think corporates nowadays, Fortune 1000 companies are not very keen to go to that part of the thing. How we are going to use prop tech? How we are going to use innovations, right? How we are going to use sustainability. Now, sustainability is the most overused, misused word. But in real estate, sustainability is a big canvas to play, right? That's what I want developers to talk about design, talk about future proofing, talk about innovation in that IT building, right? That is what worries me the most. Most of the IT parks, if you see in Hyderabad, is just a piece of land. They will build some 20, 25, 30 story and put some coffee shops or something there. Right? That gone are the days where corporates are looking at this. Gone are the days. We have to evolve, keeping in mind what the corporates want, and it is to be completely future-proofing for next 25 years. So my biggest advice to developers is that what sort of amount of time, energy, money you are spending on the overall design and thought process. That is something my take is. It is not about supply or something.
Yeah, that's, Sandip, when you look at it, Hyderabad was built for a population far below what we are. We are still using the drainage and water system that was built during the Nizam's time. The water supply was designed by Dr. Mokshagundam Vishwesharaya, the two lakes, Usman Sagar and Himayat Sagar. Today, they say the next world war will be about water. Now, Hyderabad should not face a situation which Mumbai is going to face in the next 20 days, where they're going to have a 30% cut in water because of the monsoons are not moving. There's a running joke in Hyderabad that get a flat for 2 crores and get a tanker free. You know, that is the kind of joke that is going around. You see tankers running on. Do you think water, of course, that goes with the drainage part of it and the road infrastructure. You have gated communities which are like UK inside, and then the outside roads are like Ethiopia. Do you think that change has to come now, where the infrastructure needs to meet a match with what the builders are building?
No, I think it's a very valid point, and I, being a very passionate Hyderabadi there from last 28, I'm worried about this, to be very honest. I think the overall traffic scenario, the overall infrastructure, the water supply issue, it's only going to go down until unless you really work on that, right? And it is and my question is, why is that every time It is the duty of the government. Why it cannot be the responsibility also of the developers and the corporate citizens of trying to be part of that to fix it, right? Because the moment we talk about any roads or any water supply issue, we say that it is government and we are not ready to do anything, right? And there are many examples in Hyderabad I have seen that the developers are ready to spend millions and millions of dollars on making their lobby look amazing, but they don't want to spend even half a crore of rupees on the 1 meter outside their main gate. Why?
The rainwater harvesting.
So I think I'm equally worried. I think this city might lose its competitive edge if the government, the corporate citizens doesn't come together to fix this issue of overall infrastructures, right? That is something I'm worried about, absolutely.
In fact, everybody's worried about that because if you don't have water, you're dead. As simple as that. And, as you rightly said, rainwater harvesting or what is a fancy subject. But I've seen many apartments in Hyderabad, big complexes where 4,000 flats and all are there, like Pebble City, for example, where they recycle the entire water that is generated from the bathrooms back into bathrooms itself. So that, I think, is a good step that they do. But as we getting close to the conversation, Sandip, I would like to ask you one major thing, which you've been mentioning before. And it's the two fancy alphabets, AI. Now, with the kind of thing, I'm not talking of technology here, I'm not talking, how is it impacting office space? Is AI impacting office space?
If anyone, if you ask any real estate developer, real estate consultant like me, to give you gyan on how AI is going to impact the jobs, and obviously when jobs are getting impacted, it's going to impact the commercial real estate. If any one of us can tell very confidently how the world looks like and can tell, okay, this is what is going to happen, I think that person is literally lying through the nose. No one knows what is happening. One of the top 3 office developers of India went and met two CEOs of these top 5 tech companies. And he said to me, he was in Hyderabad, he said, absolutely no one knows how it is going to impact. Yes, there will be an impact on delta, there will be a delta loss, but no one knows whether it is -20, -10, -30. We really don't know how big is the impact. Point number 1. Point number 2, what I also feel is that none of us are able to predict what are the new opportunities which AI is going to create, right? And this is very interesting to sort of map. There will be a delta loss because all the routine jobs are going to get automated, whether it is the analyst job, whether it is the secretarial job, whether it is the lawyer's job, the first 5 years lawyer's job, or the coding job. So there will be a delta loss. Let's say out of 100 people, I'm just giving an example, this lead to a loss of 30 people or 40 people. So net loss is 30. But what about the new jobs or the new avenues, right, which is going to come because of AI? Will it create +10, +20, +30? So there is a -30 and there is a +10, 20. What will the net delta is something no one can tell you, but I am hoping after 2-3 years, there will be a lot of new opportunities which will be created by AI, which we cannot foresee now. And I'm very hopeful that, right? But what is really creating the confusion, I don't know whether you have seen the interview of Amazon chief Bezos, right? And obviously NVIDIA owner, they have said, people who are talking that AI is going to kill jobs, they are literally, it's crap. They have used the word crap. So these top 2 guys have said that AI is not going to kill jobs, they're going to make jobs or employers look smarter. But at the same time, there are tons of people, tons of CEOs who are saying that this will be bloodbath. So obviously you have Jeff Bezos, an NVIDIA owner, telling, no, it's crap. And then you have 10 more people of CEOs saying, no, there will be bloodbath, right? So it's really, really confusing, and I don't have an answer. I'm only hopeful that the new jobs, new opportunities which AI is going to create, it is going to minimize the net loss from the AI.
Wonderful, Sandip, and great listening to you, because we could go on for another half an hour, but then we have time constraints and my timer is showing that we are almost reaching there. So thank you very much, Sandip Patnaik, Senior Managing Director of JLL and the Board of Directors of JLL India, for sparing your time and speaking to us. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sandip needs to be thanked because, one, he was very sportive that we spent some time talking before we reached here, and thank you very much, Sandip.
Thank you.